Good morning, everybody. It is July 29th. This is the seventh rendition of ZecDaily, and I'm Ian Saxeter. We are going to get into all the news. Sorry that I have to remain upbeat. I went to a concert last night. I don't feel well. I'm sure you can imagine why. But we are still going to get this rolling, so let's dive into it. First bit of news, Nighthawk Wallet, as we all know, one of our favorite apps, is now partnered with Unstoppable Domains. Unstoppable Domains provides Web3 domains that kind of act as the center of your Web3 identity. If you're not familiar with Unstoppable, it's very similar to ENS. So what now is happening, Nighthawk Wallet's partner with them. So if I wanted to send and receive crypto from my Nighthawk Wallet app, I can now link up a Unstoppable domain. So instead of sending some really long, complicated address, I could just send you my domain, which would be, let's say, my first and last name. And you could just send crypto there and I would receive it. So the domain would route to my Nighthawk wallet. So that's a super cool thing that Nighthawk's doing. It's making things easier to use from the user experience side. And yeah, I haven't tested it out yet. Gonna try to over like the next week or so. I've got this on my list of to-dos. But yeah, if you can test it out and you want to see how this thing goes, let me know. And yeah, excited to see that partnership. Shout out to Nighthawk for making things easier for its users. Next bit, Electric Coin Company has a user experience survey because they are going to be releasing their own wallet and they want to gather user feedback as they're in the process of doing so. All feedback is appreciated. You can be as nasty as you like. Just don't be too nasty. Like, be a little bit mean if you want, but don't be excessive. I've seen some colorful responses in the emails and not appreciated, but we want all types of feedback. And again, I work for the ECC, so saying we there. All types of feedback to help shape the strategy around this wallet. Go ahead, click this link if you have. Click into the link in this tweet here. I'm pointing at it, so here, this is better. In the tweet there, and you can fill out a survey, and you can say as many great things as you like, or you can say as many bad things as you like. All feedback is appreciated. I said good things. I said a couple bad things. Mostly good things. All right. Next bit, Deirdre Connolly, yes, Connolly, yes, okay, cool, did a fantastic presentation on Frost. So describing Frost, that is a threshold signature scheme that reduces network overhead during signing operations while employing novel techniques to protect against forgery attacks applicable to similar schemes. Okay, I'm not going to act like I know what that means, but what I will say is that every single time that one of the Zcash Foundation engineers is giving a presentation on something with regards to like cryptography, whether it's like a video presentation like this, or it's like a white paper or written document around cryptography, it always gets great reviews and everyone says it's fantastic. So while I'm not someone who would really be able to kind of understand what's going on, if you are on the technical side and are interested in the cryptography around Zcash from a technical standpoint, I would definitely recommend going into the description, clicking this link, and going to that presentation, because every single one that the Zcash Foundation, their engineering team does, it always has great reviews. So I'm sure that you will not be disappointed. Enjoy it on your Friday afternoon, and perhaps crack open an adult beverage while you're watching it, so you can kind of coast into the weekend with some good vibes and cryptography on your Friday evening. Okay, next bit of news. Least Authority is going to be hosting a workshop at ZCon 3. So if you want to go hang out with the Least Authority team at ZCon 3, check out this. And they're going to be posting a Calendly link too if you want to schedule members of the team. So if you've been sending cold emails for 24 months and no one's ever answered you, they're giving you a Calendly link. So there's a good time to meet the team, give them your sales pitch. Don't do that. Don't. I used to be a salesperson, so that's why it's funny. Yeah, they're going to be at ZCon 3 and down to meet everybody. And yeah, it's going to be excited. Next week, 7 days, going to be in Vegas by the pool. And we have a speaker highlight, Jack Gavigan, who is the executive director of the Zcash Foundation, going to be giving the opening address. Code alone doesn't cut it. Okay, so let's dive into that. This is my spiel for the day. I always pick one of these things that I have a spiel on. This is the one. So code alone doesn't cut it. I'm of the and this is bad because I'm not an engineer, and I've written like 10 lines of HTML, and I think I crashed my computer when I did it when I was like, yeah, a couple years ago. So really bad at it. Could never learn it. But I am still of the mindset and belief that the best tech does win. So that is why, like, when people kind of shout at Zcash of like, oh, it's just like project that's only really focused on the technical side of things, and maybe perhaps that like inhibits some of the like utility. I, I I just like I think the best tech ends up winning in the end, and I think the Zcash technology is getting to a place, and knowing a lot of the engineers that are working on it, it's getting to a place that it's going to be like this kind of extremely technically sound money that has real world utility. I know there's a lot of issues right now with like mobile wallets. Totally get that. Sucks. Um, like we've seen some of the wallets perform a little bit better. We'll get into that later, but like I understand that that's frustrating, but it is built on the best technology, and everyone in the industry is using Zcash technology. Like Tornado Cash is using Sapling. I think who else is using Sapling? I think there's tons of people are using Sapling for like a payment protocol, but like Tornado Cash is one of them. You've got Scroll using the Halo 2 on their new ZK EVM that I think they just launched an alpha stage of that. Like they're using Halo 2. Tons of projects are using Halo. Tons of projects are using Sapling. So yeah, and Orchard obviously is the first implementation of like ZK snarks without a trusted setup. Like these are really great technological breakthroughs that are kind of shaping the future of Zcash and shaping the future of Zec. So as we get to that point where the tech and the real world usability and utility kind of intercross and like become one of the same, the code alone isn't going to cut it. And that doesn't mean everyone like starts shilling Zcash to like their family and like gets on Twitter and is yelling about it all the time. Like that those things are great. Like if you want to shill Zcash to your family and get on Twitter and yell about Zcash, it is a free country, it is a free world, you can do whatever you want. But what I'm saying is like having this like community, this like social infrastructure that is decentralized, and that tons of people have this like ethos of like we have a skin in this game and like we're gonna make this thing happen together. I know that's like, you know, like obviously you can yell at me, like I work at ECC, so you're like, oh, that's easy for you to say, like you have a job. I totally get it, valid, cool. But for the like broader success of Zcash, as you know the project evolves and grows, like there does have to be this like consensus within the community that, hey, we're going to try to make this thing grow together. And I'm not saying that isn't the case right now, but creating, you know, more incentives for community members to contribute, like what we're trying to do with like the Zec Hub thing, and like trying to get more people to apply for grants within the Zcash community grants, more people to apply for grants within the ECC Filecoin Foundation grant pool. Like these are really cool examples of where people can get involved, and we need to be encouraging as many people to start building on Zcash, whether it's a technical implementation of something or it's a non-technical implementation of like news and media. Like we need to continue to have a ecosystem that fosters that type of development, fosters that type of contribution. And the people that are going to make that happen is the current Zcash community. So I guess the goal of this conversation might like something that would be really cool to hear. And I don't know Jack, haven't spoken to him about this. I'm going to be there with you guys hearing this for the first time. But having a community that is focused on not only being interactive like with each other, like kind of like interacting with each other on a day-to-day basis, but doing a lot of, you know, outreach into different ecosystems to help grow the community and bring people who can like build on Zcash and provide a lot of value to it. I think that's a really interesting thing that could help, you know, bring about that next stage of like Zcash development, and that next stage of like Zcash adoption is getting more people in adjacent crypto communities, you know, to come in and be a part of the Zcash ecosystem and build really cool things on it. And we all have different views on like what Zcash could be. Like Zooko said yesterday, you know, he thinks, you know, Zcash is like really good at this one thing, and like let's have Zcash be the chain that focuses on that, and then you can have like programmability on other chains. Like, and other people disagree with that. They want Zcash to be programmable, and that's totally fine. But like bring people into that discussion and have those discussions be more lively, and just continue to have that social decentralization that will eventually lead to technical decentralization and more third-party teams coming to build on Zcash. So that's my spiel. Sum it up. I know it's kind of all over the place. Social decentralization, getting more people to kind of like autonomously work on Zcash without the approval of like ECC or the foundation or even community grants, like just doing things on their own. Having that social decentralization attract more third-party development. I don't mean like go into Discords and yell at people, say build on Zcash. Create an ecosystem that seems interesting from the outside to foster more third-party development and foster more people coming into the ecosystem. and therefore Zcash then becomes this project where it has, you know, tons of different things getting built on it. It becomes utility increases, etc., etc., etc. I think that's really cool. So hopefully that's the type of discussion. Again, that's my opinion on it. I don't know where Jack's going to go, but I'm excited to hear his thoughts on it. Sorry for spieling. That was my one little thing I got to talk about today. All right, grants. Ywallet and WarpSync have applied for a grant. I believe a lot of this is retroactive funding. So Ywallet has like been built during the wallet shitstorm of 2022. Ywallet has performed ever so well. I have used it since everything kind of went down. And for me, I don't know why, I'm a very lucky individual. Every day syncs in less than a minute, and I'm sending transactions every day. So totally cool. Like receiving transactions, sending, syncing the wallet, looking, all that, all the jazz. It's working really, really well. I like the user interface. I like that it gets a little more complicated. So like in the beginning, like using different servers, like I know Free2Z, shout out Free2Z, they did a server like to help, you know, people access their funds in the beginning when no one was able to. And now things like are moving along and getting better. Yeah, it's a great wallet. So I think the Y wallet, I don't know a lot of the history. I apologize. You can yell at me. It's fine. They've been building this, and part of this funding is retroactive. So it's like, hey, I've already like built this great thing that works. Here's retroactive funding to, you know, compensate for that build. Totally fine. And then the other part of the grant is to like continue to work on it and then provide future updates for it. So again, I've enjoyed my experience with Ywallet. I'm not a grant person. I don't know if this is a lot of money or not. It seems fine. I think it's great. I'm not gonna like voice like sound support on this because it's not something I'm really familiar with, like wallet implementations, but wanted to provide an update that they did ask for a grant and the wallet is working. So check out Ywallet. Okay, next bit. Release 5.2.0 has seen additional performance improvements to Zcash wallet and full node. Okay, so a lot of technical stuff going on in here, but the TLDR from a non-technical standpoint is that the ECC team has a cross-functional team currently working on improving, you know, wallet SDKs, improving all the things, you know, going on right now within the ecosystem to help user experience, to ensure that people like are going back to like standard user experience with Zcash wallets. So this is focusing on like Zcash and full nodes. So those users after 5.2.0, after they upgrade their nodes to 5.2.0, everything should be working fine. I've heard people who have upgraded 5.2.0, everything's going well. So if you have a Zcash wallet or full node, go do that. And I think all of the issues you may have been experiencing will be gone. Amazing. Next phase of all of this is figuring out how to improve the wallet SDKs so that third-party mobile application using those SDKs will get up to speed. Let's think Edge, Unstoppable, third-party apps using those. So ECC in the next releases will be releasing improvements focused on that. So this is really great. Zcash wallet flow node up to speed, should be up to speed. Let me know it's not. Okay, cool. And then the next phase is focusing on performance improvements that are going to directly affect third-party wallet apps. So awesome stuff from the ECC team. They are absolutely crushing it. This like 5.1.0 and 5.2.0 like came really fast since everything since menu 5. But yeah, awesome work from the ECC team. Okay, we already talked about this. Son of a bitch. Oh, am I allowed to swear? Okay, next bit, Bankless.eth. If you don't know Bankless.eth, they are a big podcast, and the people who host it and do it, pretty cool. A lot of great opinions on crypto, a lot of great insights. Check them out. Matt Green, one of the, I believe, one of the founding scientists for Zcash and authors of the Zero Coin white paper, which Zcash was built, inspired by or built on, or whatever the words. Use the words you like. He joined the Bankless podcast to talk about, he wrote a great blog during, there was that letter that went out to Congress. It was like, we are the 90 technologists and we think crypto is bad and it's bad for the environment and it's a bunch of scams and Ponzi schemes and it's all horrible and we are technologists and we, okay, Matt, this is just going, so I'll try to yeah, you're just gonna have to watch Matt talk too. Try to keep attention on both faces. But yeah, they're like, it's all a scam, it's all bad. It's all Ponzi schemes. Cool, great. And then Matt Green came and said, wrote this brilliant article and was like, yeah, there's a lot of bad things in crypto. There's a lot of things that suck in crypto. But coming out and saying that the whole thing is is not, that has no financial utility or has no financial use case. It's just wrong. So he went on Bankless to discuss that entire thesis and kind of discuss the letter that got written to Congress, all the scams in crypto, and then like its real financial utility. I've only listened to a little bit of it, but I have seen messages from people who listened to the whole thing. They said it was amazing. I probably will listen this weekend. Check it out. Okay. And last bit of news. Zooko made it. Finally. He did not get rugged. The entire episode went fantastic. It went very well. Zooko was on Up Only. So if you hadn't got a chance to listen to it yet, Zooko joined Ledger and Cobie on the UpOnlyTV podcast, where he talked about, privacy, history of Zcash, future Zcash, his opinions on different things like proof of work, proof of stake. It was absolutely fantastic. There was even a point, Zooko has a whiteboard in that room he's in. He went up to the whiteboard and started explaining proof of work. He was on the whiteboard explaining like proof of work versus proof of stake. It was awesome. It was really cool. Episode's fantastic. I mean, the reviews are just like, everyone is just had a great time watching it. It felt like it was really educational for people not in the Zcash ecosystem. And then the Zcashers, obviously, it's great to see, Zooko and just on like probably the biggest crypto podcast. And gosh, it was so much fun. So it was really fun to watch it yesterday. I'm going to watch it back again today. Go ahead and enjoy. And from that, Cobie likes Zooko. So you should like Zooko. Cobie likes Zooko. You should like Zooko. Zuko's great. National treasure. We should appreciate him more. Doing a lot of great work. So thank you, everyone, for watching this episode. I know it was a little bit long. Sorry for dealing with my spiel on the code alone doesn't cut it. Excited for that talk. And yeah, thanks for bearing through all this with me. It was a tough 18 minutes. I'm going to go take a nap. I'm not feeling great. So hope everyone has a great weekend. Enjoy.